Alright guys, today we're going to be looking at the whiteboards and we're talking about Tomo. So, point number one. And then read out point number one, etc, etc. Brilliant. Brilliant. Another great impression. I'm an evidence-based person. I like evidence for things. One thing I find I struggle with is when people say things which I think don't have evidence behind them, and so I like to challenge. If someone says this is how the world works, I'm interested in listening to that, but I want to hear, the evidence for the stuff, and so I think it's good to have a sense of humility about things. I don't know, because why should I know? But I think if people say things and they say this is how the world is, this is how you should be, etc, etc. Tell me why, don't give me the reasoning, not just the actual, what's going on. And then, yeah. It just depends a little bit on how do you define. I think this is going to be just a triple-y, barrel-y kind of spots here. So with King Queen, it's a really tricky situation. Anyway. Bobby says, T1 spins your heads up all the time. Do you know any good heads up training videos to check on YouTube? Yeah, I would say it's difficult because, if you take some of the Doug Polk videos and stuff, those are pretty. There's some theory stuff that's quite useful, but I would say it doesn't actually help so much in spins. Some of the stack depths are obviously different, and so it's more important to make sure your stack depths are right. Because how you play at 9 big blinds is very different. Spin heads up videos on YouTube. There's some old stuff. If you look at some old stuff, there's some Coffee A videos in Heads Up Sit and Go, I think, back in the day. And there are some, obviously, Team 601 videos. There are some videos, any of the Spin and Go stables that are doing videos, you can look at some of their videos. There'll be lots out there. I don't think there's that much modern, brand new, cutting edge content out there on YouTube recently, but I may be wrong. I haven't done much searching, so I may be wrong there. It's worth having a look, obviously. And if you find some, let us know. That'd be cool. Nausea Analysis, has there been moments in your life when you felt heavy heart and serious upset? How did you cope? I mean, yeah, of course. But I would say not recently, if I'm totally honest. Probably the last 5 years, I've not had a particularly tough time to deal with, which is I'm obviously very lucky with that. And so I think the process of coping with things when you're a kid is different from when you're an adult, right? And you learn, if you have the benefit of language skills, you can learn to reframe things. And so I'll give you an example. So I'm a type 1 diabetic, right? And so that was quite a challenge to be like, oh, you're diabetic and you've got to inject every day now for the rest of your life. And so you think, oh, God, I'm unlucky, is one way to look at it. But then also with the power of perception, you can say, oh, I'm really unlucky. But on the other hand, for the majority of human history, I would be dead with this disease when I was 10 years old, and now I get to live and actually flourish and donk around on Twitch for people, and they somehow earn a living chatting about poker and ridiculous fortune there. And so I think reframing things can be a really powerful tool that can help. Because it's true, and you can choose to look at yourself as unlucky, or you can choose to look at yourself as lucky. And I think the same is true whatever happens. We are fortunate, I think, very fortunate to be alive and blessed. But you know, I can't say for certain. You know, I mean, let's have a look at it. What should we do here? I think we just go for the 3/4 bet. We can rep 6-3, 6-5, 5-3, etc., etc. We can have 10x, Queen X. Very easy to overbluff here. Pretty tough not to call a jack. But maybe Nikki got away from it. So King for off is not a jam, is it? Should we jam it? It's not a jam though, ladies and gentlemen. Go on, we'll do it for Tofu. Tofu, that's one for you, mate. Somewhere out there with his dog in the shed. Cammy. There's a whole Tofu history. We've got to try and get the best of Nikki. It's difficult. Many player has fallen. Heads up, battling 6 chippy Punisher. We're looking for jacks or 7s or 8s or 9s or 6s. No. All the chips with Queen Jack, please. And let's hit against Ace 4. We do hit. Let's hold now. No 5, no Ace, no 4. There we go. 9s is a good hand. That's unfortunate for Mr. 6 chippy Punisher. Right. I guess we'll play a few more, huh? How long have we been going? 2.5 hours. Wow, we've been going a long time. A few more games. You know what? Let's decide. I've decided we've hit a big spin. Oh, it's a big spin. All right, we'll give it 3 noughts. Akarita King for off is not a jam. Exactly, not a jam. Alright, well, jam. But I tell you what, Ace 9 off, that's a jam. It's a shame that the background's always black, because we'd like to see what the actual colour should be here, because it would be probably pretty exciting, wouldn't it? Alright, we'll jam these 5. My dream is one day, I'm just going to win a big spin on stream. Never be like, the boy who cried wolf. And I'll be like, no, legitimately, it was a big spin. You'll be like, yeah. We've seen it every time, add in those noughts. And they'll be like, no, this one is real. Yeah. Clabbers. It's going like the clabbers. More like. Doesn't even make sense, does it? Well, doesn't have to. Naughty and Alice, who's your favourite comedian, if any? When I was younger, I really liked Eddie Izzard. Favourite comedy would be The Office, in a way. The UK version. I like the American version too. Peep Show for the UK is also great. I'm very dating myself to kind of noughties UK British TV. But the good thing is, if you meet someone who has the same comedic taste as you, you just make friends with them. Like Wubsy, isn't it? You're just friends with Wubsy then for the rest of your life. And there's nothing you can do about it. Norm Macdonald's. I really like Norm Macdonald's. He was a big poker player too. So Norm Macdonald, it's funny because I think a lot of poker players would have seen Norm Macdonald's work when he did high stakes poker, and that wasn't very well received compared to, because I mean, you know, he did season 7 and it was just him on his own, and he was trying to take over the position from a fired who was it? High stakes poker with Gabe Kaplan and AJ Benza. It's a really tough gig to follow, right? It's like taking on Man United after Fergie. So it was never going to go that well. So it's always going to be difficult. But I think Norm, I really liked a lot of Norm's stuff. If you watch some of his I'm Not Norm, I really find it funny. Told you too much to reply that he's his own favourite comedian. And myself in a way. Probably put myself as my biggest influence, isn't it? So, yeah. Little pocket 9s here. That'll be good. Against 5s, that'll be good. Basically what happens towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, is we get a little silly. And we decide we're going to play for more and more money. I don't know exactly how much this is, but now this is getting silly, isn't it? Silly. I would stop watching now if I were you, because it's all meaningless. Still, we ran good at the 50s. Didn't run so well at the 500s, but we ran good at the 50s, and that is important. That's where you want to run good, I think. Funny enough, there's not actually that much that hits here. I mean, obviously there's loads that hits here, but like we'll go for a little c-bet. I think the c-bet is going to work more half the time, I hope. So if you've got Jack 10, 10 Queen, whatever, Broadway, Jack 8 even, it's pretty hard to do anything but fold there. The 9 hits him a bunch, he's going to shove with that. But if he doesn't have a 9, he's probably going to fold, and then happy days for us, right? So I actually don't mind c-betting that board. In a 3-bet pot, I would never c-bet that in a Blow Me Blind pot or in an ISO pot. But 3-bet is actually a different one. So I think it actually makes sense there. Just based on typical tendencies, I'm not sure. I do think, like, I adore Steve Carell, like, in terms of the Michael Scott thing. There's just something so warming and comforting, and if you have a bad day, just watch an episode of The US Office, especially some of the stuff with, and it's just, like, it's just fantastic. I don't know what it, there's a sweetness about it that it's just, it, like, I thought this other day, it's like, I wonder if there's something where, like, they make him almost as, like, tragic a person as possible to almost make you feel better about life, you know what I mean? Ah, nice sand.